for 1 second.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clash with Barndo. The people here at AA, they've asked me to do a video a little bit differently. So what I'm going to be doing here is a Town Hall 10 vs 10 analysis of a base. We 3-starred in the latest war for CWL finals, week 1. We needed to 3-star this base to be able to progress to the finals, to the next week of the finals. Now, you can see here, the base has offset infernos to heroes. You've got the 4 air defences down the bottom, and the clan castle's close-ish, but you don't know whether it's lurable. What we did was we used a series of attacks. We had a Town Hall 9 open the base. We sort of scouted it out as obviously one of the best bases to hit based on the fact that it's a tier 3 base. It's definitely not a max base. You can see a lot of low point defences. The X-bows are high. The wizard towers are still a level off. And you've got a lot of point defences that are missing in points as well. So what we sort of struggled with through realising straight away was the massive amount of hit points up in this section of the base. You can see with those levelled up Infernos and X-bows, all those extra hit points, they make it that little bit harder to get through there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through in chronological order. I'm going to show every attack, the learnings, and how our team discussed it all out. Okay, so for us at AA, this has been our core weakness, is 10v10s, and we've only recently sort of got our shit in order where we've got our 10 vs 11s going at a fairly good pace. We've got our 9 sorted, so we rarely need hit downs, and we're getting these Town Hall 9 opens. This particular war, we had 6 Town Hall opens, Town Hall 9 opens on the 8 Town Hall 10s, so we used a net effect, worked out the 10s that we didn't want to worry about. We would make the 11s fresh hit, or possibly use a 10 if we had spare. And we've gone in with Sparky doing some kind of a Dollar Loon, and we probably should have thought about this a little bit better. It was under my direction that I've gotten Sparky to do this, but thinking about it afterwards, about how we've actually utilised the raid in hindsight, it's going to help us prepare and plan better the following week to see, to know our attack styles and what we're going in with. So the intention of this Town Hall 9 open was to get in there, see what the CC held, send in a Golem force into here, remove these 2 air defences, and see how it went there. Now you can see he actually does a lot more than that. He ends up getting all 4 air defences, and the problem is doing lava loons without having air defences to tether to it does make them quite hard. And you can see it's an anti-air lava loon base style, where they want you to be hitting through there. You see the 1 skelly trap up the top. You can see 1 giant bomb down the bottom beside the bomb tower. It was a hound in the clan castle with a wizard and an archer. And we didn't really get to see the exact spot of all the remaining Teslas, was it? 1, 2, 3. No, all 4 were shown. So you've got 2 up the top and then 1 in the middle here. Where was the 4th one? There you go, on the side. So it was 3 along that northwest side, and then the 1 down the bottom. So you can see here the Town Hall 10 setup. Sir David, level 35 Jimmy Bob, level 40 Queen, so near max heroes. Now our guys had a heavy discussion over this base. They broke it apart as best they could. This is all kind of new to us as well, with actually having these opportunities where we're getting these hits. So sometimes Sir David, he's on hit down details, he's on Town Hall 11 details, and we're not having them. This particular war, we used 6 Town Hall 10s to clear the 3 Town Hall 11s, 50% effect. It left us a whole heap of attacks where we could plan. So what we're going to go with, I'll just show the replay and then the learnings, but it's basing on a 3-phase army where they've broken it down, and they want to use a queen to get this section in here. So you use your queen to get there. There was going to be Jimmy Bob, I call him, obviously, for the people that aren't familiar with my YouTubes. They wanted to use Jimmy Bob with a golem and a small kill squad to get in there and remove the queen, the king, the bomb tower, and the CC units, of course. So this is what they've come up with to start off with. The first raid, Town Hall 10 hit now. And it was a really awesome opening start. Now, it surprised me to see this, and I was stoked of seeing this. I'm not too sure what the intention of the wizards down the bottom to utilise straight away, where 1 would have done the same job. But this core effect on the northwest here with the two baby dragons, them basing into a golem. We knew there was a Tesla there, so the golem comes out, and then wall breakers run in. So it's going to be basically a naked queen with just the golem tank, 4 wall breakers, and that another minion there. So again, these are units that aren't desperately needed straight away, but we only see these after the net effect, and you'll see with the oncoming changes. So that golem's still going. Second point defense is down. The queen starts taking fire, but he doesn't need to chew that ability. There's no stable fire after that. That archer tower does reach in though, does a little bit of damage, and this is where now the golem's almost gone. Sir David's got to pop his queen ability and then start sending in the ground units. Now, looking at the ground units, he's got a clan castle with bowlers, giant, 1 additional max pecker. Jimmy Bob's there as well. So we're looking at 70 unit spaces plus the king. And we're going to be using a jump, a rage spell, and a poison spell. All of these spells to get in there and try to push in to get some good value out of that. Giant bomb kills the queen there. Didn't know it was there, so that was all new and learning. Outcome, doubles ground skeleton traps. Now that's only going to make it harder for the kill squad that's going inside there. And you can see they don't really get a super amount, but they do manage to get the ground CC down, and that remaining hound is going to track onto these hogs, and it's going to do nothing. So that's beautiful. He's got a good healthy chunk of hogs. I think he took something like 27, 30 hogs, somewhere around there. Now you see 2 heals and 1 rage for the ground. Now I don't know why the guys agreed on taking the rage. I've always worked on the theory dead hogs do 0 DPS, so you can't heal through a inferno. The rage didn't really help, and you can't heal. So in effect there, that's not really been a great summary of how to get that ending. I think the freeze there probably would have been the smarter option to go in. Some minions to clear up. Archer down the bottom, probably should have thrown that up the top, but the raid was over. So you can see he's got a 67%. We've opened up 2 of the giant bombs, seeing where there's 2 ground skeleton traps down the bottom there, obviously known Teslas, and not seen any giant bombs on the infernos. That's all very important learning, and we've taken that away, and I'll come up with the next raid now. Okay, so this is Boss's variation on the army. Now you can see there's 2 giants. 2 golems instead of just a single golem. 4 wizards, 4 wall breakers. So it's very similar in the army, except there's now the golem instead of the pecker. So we'll have a look at the start. The start's going to go very much the same. You see the wizards put down the bottom, 2 wizards, the 2 baby dragons, and then the golem queen on the left. Now, that goes in effect the same. Every time this base was hit, it took 5 Town Hall 10s for us to get this base down. Every time it was hit, the queen did different things, the babies did different things. It was all based on, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Golem goes in early. That was the intention, to get the golem in early, to draw that giant bomb, so the kill squad didn't take as much damage. Now this was a little bit weird as to why the hogs would be going in straight away. Time wasn't a major problem. You don't want to be having those pups going off. But he's gone in, found another one of the giant bombs, and you can see again there's that rage problem, and now there's all these dead hogs and we can't heal them. So in effect, 2 spells that were completely wasted and we didn't see it. So did we show 1, 2, 3? No, sorry. So the remaining 2 giant bombs actually haven't been found. Obviously I know where they are now, having done the raid, but you can see same sort of problem where we've gone. The hogs are not going to get through that inferno with heals and rages. It's definitely not going to work. So what happened was we took a bit of a break from that. It was quite late at night. You know, the team was puffed, and we just sort of said, righto. The next morning we've come back and we've gone, let's have a look at doing a Stinkfinger raid. For anyone that doesn't know what the Stinkfinger raid is, have a look. I've got a video up there of how to do it. It's a Town Hall 9 based raid. Now, it's heavy on hogs. It's heavy on having hog support for the spells and all of that effect. So the intention this time to going in, the intention of this draw was to send Jimmy Bob here at the enemy Jimmy Bob, he'd also knock out the giant bomb that was there. Still send old Queenie in there to knock out all of that, knock out that, push down there hopefully and get that, and get the Queen down there and see what we do with the poison. We're hoping, with the clan castle, hoping that the clan castle units would run down to Jimmy and they'd get killed. Now, you can see with the spells there's 4 heals, 1 freeze, 1 poison, 1 skeleton spell. So that's a bit of a tactic where you ignore the Queen. You poison her, you skelly spell her, and you just keep going with your raid. So I'll start the raid up now. We'll get into it. Now, as I said before, every time the Queen section was done, it was all different. They all had little minor notices. Now we see here, only 1 wizard down the bottom, 1 archer, saved a few unit spaces there. In goes the Queen, and you can see she almost wanted to pat clockwise there, and that was a bit of a heart breather there. This is me doing the raid. Now you can see that was a bit of a silly move by myself. The wizard actually removed this building, this building, this building. It actually removed too much, and Jimmy's going to want to run up this way. Realistically, what I should have done was I should have put Jimmy Bob onto that mine, so he would then track up there, get the king's aggro, and be, how you going? But unfortunately, it's changed. I've missed it, and that's where he's gone down. So you've got to keep going with the raid. You've got to see what you can get maximised out of that raid. Early giant bomb, early kings hoping to pop the giant bomb to save the damage off the Queen, but it did nothing. Didn't trigger the bomb. The Queen ended up getting that anyway. Now the hog was thrown down to try to trigger that giant bomb that's down the bottom, just to get it off the table. And you can see now, you can see now both the heroes are still alive. The wizard and the archer are dead. Hound's obviously still alive. Out comes the Stinkfinger. Now the Stinkfinger is just 2 fingers of hogs put down, so it's a double finger hog. And you can see now the poison's put up for the Queen, the first heal, and that Queen's going to track into that poison. The King's going to track into that poison. Both enemy skeleton spell traps are going to track into that poison. So you can see also then the freeze put down, the second heal put down, and now the third heal going in. Those hogs, there's almost 40 hogs there. I think there was 37 hogs. So 40 hogs. The skeleton spell worked through the enemy king. The problem is with skeleton spells, they don't do well versus kings and queens. They can only really take out one hero or the other. The reason being is the enemy king, he's got so many hit points. He is a big beast and you can't really do it. So the failure on the king there, you can see the queen is wiping out something like 12 hogs she took out, and it just wasn't going to work. So that was simply put there. But we've taken that raid now. It ends up being a 92% 2-star. So we took the raid from a 60 to 70% raid to a 92%, and we've gone, okay, that can work. What we have to do is we need to fix that king drop. Okay, so you can see Tits here now. Army's very similar, and Tits gets into the base. Now, what we've done is we've gone, instead of starting I'll keep pushing the wrong buttons. Instead of starting a wizard to clear these buildings, what we'll do is we'll get a wizard to knock out that, and then that mortar is just going to pew it down. And then you can put old Jimmy Bob, he's going to run up that direction, and he's going to aggro the all-important king. So, let's get into the raid. That wizard does its job. The babies do their job. Now, I think in this one here, you can see the golem comes down a touch earlier. Now, that archer tower is being tanked by the baby dragons. So that's reducing damage that's going onto the golem. What had to be careful of is that the archer tower didn't target wall breakers. That wasn't really thought about at the time. But you can see now that golem's got a third of life. Queen's done really well. Out comes Jimmy Bob. He's on the dance floor. Now he's doing well. There's a wizard to back that up. You can see the Queen, she's still got a whole heap of life left. The golem's only just shattered. So this is probably the best hero effect versus this particular base. You can see the Queen's got a whole heap of life. She goes down the bottom. Golem's still tanking. Now, Jimmy Bob's down there dancing with the king. And the ability is going to pop. And you can see now that ability triggers the giant bomb, triggers the clan castle. Queen's still going. That's still on the dance floor. Now this is where the problem initiates, is the wizard and the archer come out, but queen goes down, she's popped her ability, and then Tits has gone, archer down on the floor, drag those units down, then gone, shit, how do I kill the wizard and the archer? I can't kill the wizard and the archer. So launched into the raid as hoping that that wizard would get sucked into that poison. So you can see the poisons run the same, the heals run the same, and that wizard runs up there. And you can see, we'll just poise that there. Now that wizard runs up, there he is there, that little red coat. He runs into the poison effect for a little bit, but these hogs here are tempting him. So what's happening is that wizard's going to run out and eventually wreck the raid. The skeleton spell's there. The skeleton spell works. So we see the skeleton spell this time go, okay, good, that's got that. But there's that one wizard just going, nah, stuff you, I'm not going to go away. Even through the heal, you can just see those hogs going, pow, pow, pow. So that wizard is just going to smash those hogs in the end. It was a really unfortunate thing to go, okay, we can get this. It should have been cleared. It should have been considered. And these are all learnings. It's huge learnings for myself. I do most of the Town Hall 10 on 10 stuff myself. And I try to run trains with my extra accounts and other wars and all these kinds of things. And these are things that I'm still starting to learn myself. And you can see their Tits, really good effort. And you can see exactly where it's gone wrong with that one wizard causing the grief. Okay, so this is Hunt's attack on the base. The 10v10 specialist, old Huntsy Hunts. 2 weeks in a row with a 10v10. Awesome. It's so awesome and it's good. You can see now, basically added one Valk to the army. A few barbarians instead of archers, and of course the goblins and the wizards, and just gets into it. So it's pretty much the same rate as what Tits ran, but having something to get rid of that pesky wizard. So you can see, again, the golem comes out nice and early. That works well. The baby dragon takes a bit of damage. The golem's still got a good chunk of life. Out comes Jimmy Bob and the helpful wizard to go with it. And you can see, unfortunately, this time, the golem didn't last as long. Every time it changed. It was weird how it just changed every time. King's ability. So Jimmy Bob uses his ability. Out comes the clan castle. Queen doesn't remove the giant bomb, but you can see the barbarians come down. Barbarians, then a Valk going, how you going, Queenie? And straight into the raid. Now, one of the problems with doing a poison and a skeleton spell on an enemy queen is you have to be aware that the queen's targeting a particular unit. So depending on what she's targeting, if that unit doesn't die, she'll continue to chase after that particular unit, which when you're doing hogs, heals, it may mean that she's going to keep tracking after a hog. It's been one of the reasons why we've had raid fails with the Stinkfingers, but you can see the poison. That's why the early poison, that's not going to miss her at all. The skellies are down, the skellies are out, and you can see, so out now comes that. And the queen switches, the hog that she was on, so out comes the freeze, the second heal's been, the third heal's dropped down now. This was one of the ones, I'm not sure if we noticed the giant bomb in the previous raid, but you can see the queen's dead, the hound's stuck in midfield there. This was the other variation, was that Tesla didn't drop down, one hog got it. So the cleanup troops couldn't get on the dance floor, but they were held patiently until the hogs did it. Otherwise, they would have tracked back and they would have got it. There was about 15 seconds left on this raid, so it would have been really, really close if that Tesla hadn't have been done. So maybe in hindsight, having some kind of giant on hand just in case at the end to maybe drop with a wizard might have been good. But all in all, for us at AA, that's been really awesome, is getting to this progression of 10v10. We did CWL Light last season. We're now in Rising, where you've got 8. Breakdown, we try and do a lot of the bigger potlucks where you're running 10 to 14. So, yeah, look, I hope I've helped. I hope I've done what my guys have asked for with the analysis and the breakdown of all the attacks. And hopefully this week, coming into the finals, we can take a lot of these learnings and keep the 10v10s rolling.
Have a party, turn the music, let's get it started. Go ahead and shake it. I'm looking for a girl with a body and a sexy strut.